I filmed a quick review for TikTok, but I wanted to wait a couple days and really think about it, really take time to digest what I witnessed before I did my longer YouTube video. But let's just get right into it. For me, Ryan Coogler is a pretty no-miss director so far when it comes to his features. He's kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything. We have super intimate, scrappy indie filmmaking with Fruitvale Station. We have middle of the road with Creed, and we have the whole other end of the gamut with the MCU with his Black Panther films. And I genuinely think all of those movies range from good to great. I think what really shocked me and surprised me was that Sinners would be his first original story. Fruitvale Station is based on a true story. Creed is obviously a continuation of the Rocky franchise, and Black Panther is based on the comic books. When that clicked for me, I was very excited to see what he would do. I think he's a marvelous director and writer, but him tackling a wholly original story was really exhilarating to me. I feel like Sinners is almost a culmination of everything Ryan Coogler's been tackling so far in his career, both thematically and stylistically. It has these really intimate, beautiful, simple moments, and it goes for these big, sweeping cinematic moments as well. Honestly, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I think Sinners, for me, is my favorite Ryan Coogler movie and the movie of his career so far. Sinners tells the story of two troubled twins, Smoke and Stack, and they are trying to leave their troubled lives behind, returning to their hometown to start again. When they return home, they buy an old mill with the intention of turning it into a successful juke joint. As they endeavor to do this and restart their lives, they discover that there is a greater evil waiting for them when they come back. Thematically, Ryan Coogler is giving us his ode to community and tradition through the lens of blues music. A lot of this movie is about coming back to your roots. These twins are returning to this community they once knew, but it is very different than the way they left it. But there's still this connective tissue there that links them all. Honestly, I didn't know based on the trailers what like a pivotal role music was going to play in this movie, but this movie really, really uses blues as almost a main character in and of itself. I don't want to spoil anything specific because I think it's best to experience this blind, but there is a particular sequence that almost feels like the thesis of this film. The way culture, specifically music in this film, connects a people, past and present, and unifies them into one collective community. And it shows the way culture evolves and changes with the times, but it still goes back to its roots. It still has a foundation, it still has roots in this thing. I'm trying to be vague about it because this particular sequence and this recurring motif is actually breathtaking, and it's so audacious. I could not believe what was happening, and I can't believe Ryan Coogler pulled it off. It's so good. He's firing on all cylinders throughout this whole movie, but that sequence in particular. I think this movie then further explores, after we establish that narrative, how, culture is taken, it's appropriated, and it's tampered down underneath these promises of, oh, isn't this much better? Isn't the way we're going to go about this much better? And some people buy into that promise and others do not. We will get more into that a little later. I mentioned how Ryan Coogler is firing on all cylinders, and I truly think this is such a triumph of a directorial achievement. The scope he's operating under, the way his visual storytelling is uplifting the script and its themes. It's beautiful, impressive work. The camera's so dynamic and alive. Autumn Durald's cinematography is breathtaking and gorgeous, and it just makes everything feel so big. I felt so small, like watching this big scope of a film. And I think the decision to shoot it on film was brilliant. Michael P. Shaver, the editor, editing is beautiful. There's a musicality to it, both in the moments that utilize musical sequences and even the moments that aren't underscoring a musical sequence. There's an energy, there's a musicality to the editing. Ruth E. Carter, who famously won an Oscar for her work on Black Panther, is the costume designer. I really loved the period costuming, but mostly I really loved how she used color to define character, these characters have their own distinct color palette in a really fun way. Specifically with the twins, I think she does a great job at making their wardrobe have a distinct personality of its own. Ludwig Göransson, who has done Black Panther, Oppenheimer, he returns with the score here, and that score is so transportive. It's so visceral. The first note hit, and I immediately was like, oh, I know exactly where I am. I feel exactly where I'm supposed to be. All of these pieces, all of Coogler's collaborators really come together to build this vivid world. Sinners takes its time getting going. It does ask you to be patient for that first chunk, but I did not mind. I did not feel like it was dragging because I just loved spending time in this world with these characters who were so vivid and alive. I really didn't mind it. And I think that decision to take the time to establish this place and these people pays off in droves later. Michael B. Jordan plays both twins, Smoke and Stack, and I think he does an excellent job at crafting these distinct personalities for each without being kind of like caricature. They both feel very alive, and I think it's a really impressive set of performances on his part. He's truly a movie star, and I love watching him on screen. This is the best Haley Steinfeld has been since True Grit. I think she has a really interesting character here without giving too much away. I think she really gets a great opportunity to flex her muscles, especially when things start hitting the fan. This isn't a spoiler because it is teased at in the trailer, but she does a great job playing with Mary's duality. If you've seen the trailer, you know. It's really exhilarating. She's really, pardon the pun, sinking her teeth into the role. Jack O'Connell plays our big bad Remick. He is like the main vampire, and he is deliciously evil. So sinister, has such a unsettling presence that colors the whole film. He's equally tantalizing and unsettling. It's Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim. Really fun character. It's very layered. Delta Slim is so silly in some parts, but he's also so deeply haunted, and like Delroy Lindo is exactly the right performer you want delivering such a complicated character. I love what he was doing. It's an excellent supporting performance. Miles Catton, who plays Preacher Boy, this is his first movie, and what an arrival. It truly felt like an arrival because that performance is lightning in a bottle. He performs a lot. He is one of our main blues performers, and it's truly captivating. Had me sitting right up in my seat. The whole ensemble is absolutely stacked. I genuinely loved everyone in it. Lee Jun Lee, Lola Kirk, Yao. I think they're all great. But the true heart and soul of this movie is Wumi Mosaku. She plays Annie, a hoodoo priestess. I think what she does is just utterly captivating. I could write a whole dissertation on her character and like the work she's doing. She quietly commands every frame she's in. I love the way she crafts such a palpable pain of this character, but also simultaneously she exudes so much warmth and love. She contains multitudes and silent glances. It is such a stellar performance. I've loved Wumi Mosaku's work for a while now, but this is truly a beautiful reminder of what a stellar talent she is. I love that character of Annie. She is kind of like the grounding anchor of the film. She really ties Smoke and Stack like down. Is like that constant reminder of home and the trials and tribulations left behind, but also this beautiful connector to the ancestors. I think it's a really fun, beautifully intricate character. I think some people are going to be mixed on some like choices that Coogler makes, specifically with the aspect ratios. They continually change, they shift, but they do so in service of these dramatic beats and the story, and I think they really worked for me. Again, no spoilers, but it's very interesting to see like what ratio he uses for what moments and which characters. I think what I loved so much about this movie is it is a beautiful marriage of a popcorn genre movie. It's a horror vampire film, but it's also so rich textually. There's so much to unpack with it, and I think Coogler is the perfect person to remind us that big budget blockbusters can also be smart and thoughtful and intricate. I think a vampire film is a great and refreshing lens to examine culture and tradition and appropriation through. You know, we quite literally have vampires sucking the life out of this community in order to craft their own in a way that they feel is superior. I really want to see this a second time so I can dig a little deeper into the themes. I think the concept and the setup, though, really gives way for a powerful examination of otherness and how, you know, people can infiltrate a community and taint that community, and how solidarity works among other marginalized groups. I would also absolutely encourage you to seek out the voices of Black critics and film experts and what they think about those themes specifically. They will absolutely bring more depth and experience to those conversations than I could. But honestly, I think Ryan Coogler is truly one of our best artists right now. This movie is a true testament to when you let an auteur operate uninhibited and let them execute their vision wholly. This is absolutely my favorite film of the year so far. I truly felt like I could kick a wall down. I turned into that gif of the duck chuckling and smoking several times. Like, it's audacious, it is messy, but it's so ambitious and bold, and I am just so thankful it exists. I have it at a 4.5 out of 5 right now. I am going to see this again ASAP because, like I said, much to unpack. But thank you so much. Also, to the people who want original movies, I always see y'all on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, like, there's no original movies anymore. Here is one. This is your chance to go support one and show up and experience an original work that is going for everything we want out of movies. Thank you so much for checking out my review. And make sure you do all the things you're supposed to do with a YouTube channel: like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me everywhere, and I will see you on the next one, sinners. Bye.